And I'm Steve Gutierrez. Welcome today, December 4th, to Crowdfunding News TV and one of our daily broadcasts that we bring to you highlights of what's going on in the world of crowdfunding.
We are crowdfunding guys, and our passion is crowdfunding in all its forms and flavors. This video show is produced to provide you with the most relevant and daily crowdfunding news, campaign, and information. This is to save you time, provide you with quality, value, and convenience that you can expect within 30 minutes of daily dose of crowdfunding TV. We want to be your source of latest crowdfunding news, campaign, and information from around the world.
And to start off with our top 5 today, we're going to focus in on a company called Lockitron. They built an application that works on your smartphone device that was actually rejected by Kickstarter in October. It was turned away for being a home improvement item, which the funding platform of Kickstarter doesn't support. But talk about entrepreneurship. The guys at Lockitron went do it yourself and built their own crowdfunding methodology and campaign. And in a day of orders after putting their crowdfunding campaign up into the world, they launched it with $500,000 worth of funding. They spent several days and a couple of weeks building this campaign. They gathered $2.2 million, which represented 15,000 units of their product in first prior to delivery orders in advance of building their product. What a entrepreneurial spirit these guys had. Go for crowdfunding and do it yourself. Our second story of the day turns to how to prepare yourself for that kind. $2.2 million of crowdfunding success. It's brought to you by the folks at Open Forum. We have details to their article on our website at crowdfundingplanning.com, and let me give you some of the highlights to what they say. Amidst all the confusion, of all the variations and additions of what crowdfunding is going to be and can be, it's important to proceed carefully. And here are some tips on how to be prepared and start your crowdfunding effort in your business today. First thing out of the block is get good, solid, professional advice. You can never go wrong with getting the advice of those that have touched crowdfunding, have spent time in the entrepreneurial world, and can share with you that heartfelt mentoring moment that will save you tons of money, tons of effort, and a lot of heartache.
Can I say that you don't have to learn the learned experience?
Well, you know, we all take our lumps. Sometimes it's easier to learn about avoiding a few lumps now and then, right? The other thing is of the 3 that they focused on is craft a clear communications path of your message. You know, when you know what you want to sell, you have a passion for what it is, it makes a whole lot of difference. And then part of the key is do choose a good platform to support your funding effort. Surprising note in the article that I thought I'd raise attention to. New data from the Crowdfunding Professionals Association that we've highlighted here. A November survey that they put together of about 442, actually exactly 442, entrepreneurs, investors, and intermediaries rated themselves as having a 5 or less on a scale of 10 in understanding what the Jobs Act and equity crowdfunding is all about. My goodness, it sounds like an education and information opportunity for helping this new legislation become successful and help our economy build up some momentum and jobs in the marketplace. Take a look at crowdfundingplanning.com for that up-to-date information. It's free, it's reasonably well organized, and it's contributed to by many, many people in the environment.
I'm going to make a suggestion. The audiences, they know that we work and we lead with Google a lot. Google has a specific type of search called search scholar or a scholar. If you go there and just put crowdfunding equity, you see a series of papers that have been established and published in university, and two of them recently been actually published that I highly recommend. That folks that they want to learn about crowdfunding equity-based, they can go to the Google Scholar and basically do the search there and get this document out. Mostly they are PDF format, but they're detailed and also extremely recent, as maybe a few days ago.
Well, we'll make sure we add that to the notes that we don't have prepared right yet in our crowdfunding summary of our most popular items and news items of the day. Let's touch on how will the government, or will the government help, or will it actually hinder? Right now, after the presidential election is over, it's time for our country to get back to work on the economy and job growth plans. Most recently, the Bureau of Labor Statistics pointed out, we're still suffering with a 7.9% unemployment rate. That's 12 million plus people looking for work. 3 or 4, there are actually 5 key areas, 3 of which I think are very, very measurable with respect to helping resolve this problem. We have to unlock the traditional and non-traditional methods of capital for investment for the small business. Investing in the community and the small business is key. 65% of new jobs in the U.S. over the last 17 years have been created by the small business. Supporting and sustaining their supply chains and all of the components within it and the business opportunities within it. Investing is measurable. So let's see if we can help make this happen. And then all of these are new emerging corporate business forms. Most of these companies have small and no employee growth goals yet. They're just getting started. Getting the Jobs Act implemented is critical to their success or their launch. Contact your congressional, your Senate, and the White House leadership to help them understand no more gotcha games. Our economy needs to get rolling, and the Jobs Act that we signed in April of this year needs to be implemented. I'll cover the last 2 quickly because we're on a tight schedule today with so much news and information. One of the things that I wanted to share with you, and we've highlighted, is why successful crowdfunding campaigns absolutely require the use of a social media mindset. Why is this particularly important for these would-be recipients of crowdfunding to understand? It is that first, crowdfunders who will fund this seem to understand there's high risk involved in all of these new ideas. Second, it seems that there is a social media culture that sort of wants to embrace and hold close to their heart some piece of this business idea or concept, and it is easily reached and extended to through a concept called social investing. Let's help leverage that. There is more straightforward information about how to do this in our archives, and we'll always be updating you with information about why social media is so important. Our last item of the day is what search engine optimization features can help your e-commerce software as well as your base web and social media tools grow. I want to highlight a couple of key things with all of the data we've gathered. The Google and Bing Webmaster tool sets are highly valuable to analyze what your website has, what your message is, and how to exploit that more effectively. Another piece is something that we'll highlight in our notes, and it is the Google Analytics e-commerce tool set. This is available to Google users and available in limited form to non-Google participants. But we'd like to share with you an awful lot of the opportunities that brings us to help build and support your crowdfunding campaign. With that said, all these fine information articles, I'll turn it over to David, who's got 3 or 4
I would like to add
ideas.
something to your wonderful research and news that you brought in. Number one, there is something here in the office we use a lot. When it comes to crowdfunding, crowd comes first, just crowdfunding. And many people, they usually start the funding without really building the crowd. Absolutely. That's number one. Regarding the Google Analytics, you need to know the traffic that actually comes and goes, and statistic that is with your web portal or any other portal that you might have, even YouTube's. And having those analytics, when you know who's coming from where and when and how often, then you will have a very good weapon to go and basically be able to be a success. In this section, we are going to go ahead and cover the crowdfunding campaign review. And the very first one is a company called Renewable. And Renewable basically, I'm going to go ahead and actually share the screen with you guys here. And Renewable is a company that basically came up with the idea that all of us probably somehow we feel about it. We know that as we go to restaurants or we go to groceries, a lot of food is being thrown out. Renewable collects the food waste from the restaurants, school, food courts, and uses a proven technology to turn them to the organic fertilizers and renewable energy that are then delivered right back to the community. This is a great business concept. We saw very good description and perks, and very decent team review, or what we call it, bio. And as I mentioned, we like the idea very much. Breakdown of why they need $25,000 for this concept was there, and that was very enjoyable. The Renewable basically is an Indiegogo campaign. Their short pitch that it says green the planet one community at a time was a very nice pitch. We really so-called enjoyed to see folks they can come up with less than 140 character and be able to explain what they do. They're attempting to raise $25,000, as I mentioned. They have 24 days left, and they have raised about $1,579. Campaign video is an animation that is extremely clear regarding what they want to do. Their perks become 10 perks between $5 to $500. We recommend they improve this perk by reducing it, because that way they can get more attention. The next campaign that we reviewed is really dear to me. In this case, it is done by an entrepreneur, visionary called Tara Tiger Braun. And basically the story is that she participates and collaborates in Los Angeles with a group of students, and this group of students basically they have a they invent and they come up with new ideas. And in this campaign, she's trying to raise money for a 3D printers and laser cutters that allow these folks to do projects and innovate. As I mentioned, the project is in Los Angeles, and as you see here, they are trying to raise about $15,000, and as of today, that is 28 days left, they have raised $11,000. I'm very sure this is going to be a successful campaign. I highly recommend folks they take a look at this campaign and participate for many number of reasons. It is a really good campaign. And a disclaimer, we are going to attend and actually make investment on this. What is important was the video feels very natural due to Tara's personality. She looks and sounds passionate and present a genuine cause. We count 12 perks between $1 to $10. The last so-called campaign we are going to review is called Unigrip Pro, and it's done by George Robbins, that is in Georgia. It's a Kickstarter campaign. As you see in the picture, he has came up with a grip that basically gets connected to your mobile phone, and then you can use this thing as a video camera. We find it kind of interesting, not because there are gadgets like this in the market, but this particular one is very sturdy. It's the one that actually, if you drop it, your camera is not going to get broken. The short pitch was a very good one. We thought that it's one of the way that these folks came up with one sentence again, ultimate universal smartphone month. They're attempting to just raise $2,000. Fortunately, they have passed 80%. They're about 1,637. 5 days left. Campaign quality is good. It provides the product description benefit, and there is a very professional ask in it. Very nicely, he has asked for this, and I highly recommend again, if you get a chance to take a look at it. We count 10 perks between $1 to $155. We recommend shorter lists, and basically we also believe these folks, they will make their goal, and they will be able to produce this. Great. Back to you.
All right. Well, we're going to focus in on our crowdfunding major story of the day, and it's really more of an announcement on education and information exchange. The crowdfunding conference announcements that we tend to address, we're not having anything that we're finding right yet in the short term on announcements for events, but I found a very interesting blog and an article set on crowdfunding, the perils, and how to avoid them. It comes from Gigamon, and its contributor is one of the crowdfunding experts out in the community that has some interesting insight. And the first couple of areas that I'll just touch on with respect to this is that when it comes to investing in business, especially for startups, like in all things, keep in mind there are risks and rewards, and to think that there are not is foolish. So you're doing your due diligence and making a good selection is all part of this. Did we lose the broadcast? No, we didn't.
No, go ahead, please.
We're still going. So 4 key points to address in this area, and that is don't make an adverse selection. There's a perception that from some of the wizards of smart in the tech industry, especially the Silicon Valley venture capital world, if they've passed on an idea, and now this second-rate idea is seeking crowdfunding, well, you know, it's maybe not all that good. Well, let me share with you a couple of the VC quoted statistics that they've shared with us. And that is that they may look at up to 1,000 deals before they select one. Out of the one that they select, they gather together and aggregate 8 to 10 deals. That's 10,000 ideas they looked at to pick their 10, and only 9 of them don't reach their potential, 2 or 3 get close, and the 6 or 7 others fail anyway. So their success rate is less than 0.1% on the VC side of the world. My question is, what happens to that number 2 through 5 great idea that was on their short list that got sent back out the door, and the VC said, no thank you? Let's see if we can help them through crowdfunding and beat those odds of 0.1%. Doing due diligence is one of the last items that we need to focus on in all camps. Well, actually, there's a couple more, but you know, all industries have experts that analyze what the project is about, what the requirements are, what the marketplace looks like, and what its value is. Let's make sure that as a crowdfunding supporter that we are not shortening that life cycle in any way, and that we're always making sure that the investing community has all of the appropriate information necessary to really understand that business idea. The third item in the list, excuse me, I'm getting one step ahead of myself, is that the investment terms. In many cases, some of the terms in how you acquire ownership are a bit rigid, and I'll tell you there's a lot of good reason for that. On the startup and the new venture investment concept tend to be very closely held 2, 3, 4,000 holders that may have only a share or two each. That's a broad distribution among a lot of people, but that may make up a large portion, 20, 25% of the ownership of the company. And we want to make sure that the impatientness of our investor mindset, I want to make my profit and cash out, we don't over eagerly do that to a small startup, because it can have a grave impact on their short-term potentials. So let's rethink our investing in this entrepreneurial mindset and recognize that we might be wanting to look at a buy and hold time frame that well exceeds 6 months to a year. Our last item is with everything. As we had seen a number of the big investment offerings brought to market recently, the promised experts that are offering the IPO don't always deliver on the goods. You may buy it, and unfortunately, like many investors recently this year on the Facebook investment, $38 a share hasn't quite produced much of a profit yet this year. So remember that there are regulatory issues that will be implemented for crowdfunding, just as there are in many of the other investment forms in the world. And the objective is to make sure that all the information is available to all the investors. There is no special or privileged information, and there are sure no inside players involved in the transaction. So now more developments and information from David.
In this section, usually I've been given an opportunity to have what we call the code of the day, and I'm very big at it. Today's the code of the day is: success is getting up one more time than you fall down. And actually, you stand up one last time and you win it, then nobody remember how many times you fell. Then I highly recommend with crowdfunding, the plan A is to win. Absolutely, there's no question. But guess what? If you don't win, there's still 25 more letters left. And again, we advocate crowdfunding should be part of the day-to-day fundraising, revenue creation for your organization. You learn it to the point that you can win it. Again, expectation is that you cannot really win every time you go to the bank to raise money or get a loan. The same thing with crowdfunding.
Let me add one more point to that, since David brings up the fact that crowdfunding and a crowd-enabled business mindset is something that will keep your business in touch with your customers, your competition, your products and their acceptance in the marketplace, and keeping that information flow with your interested and supportive initial crowd that you get your funding from. Don't let them become abandoned in any way, shape, or form. Grow that valuable asset, because keep in mind that that second product or that product add-on or that unique implementation of the product that a group of your own customers said, hey, do this, try this with it, look how I make it work so good. That could be your next follow-on product, your second crowdfunding campaign, and an expansion of your business model beyond your own thinking. So never, never, never let your crowd disengage. Keep them informed, keep them happy, keep them aware of what you're doing. Even if you have a setback, share with them the challenges that this takes, because every business and every supporter is going to want to know all you're doing is giving it your best and bringing the best idea possible forward, and you're going to take your lumps. And like David said, you know, our quote of the day, you fall down once, that's fine. Every time you fall down is an opportunity to get back up again and learn from that error and drive your business case forward with a better direction.
I want to add something. We really fundamentally are in a different era. If you go a couple of years past, for one to come up with a brand name and brand identity, or what you call it, a brand personality, one had to spend millions of dollars. Cases like maybe Oprah or Martha Stewart and many, many others. You got to go to the TVs, you got to go to the show, you got to be in magazine, you got to be multi-million-dollar investment. Then you'll be able to create this brand and start providing benefit of the brands to the clients and the customer. No longer. With social media, doing it right, you can easily reach millions of people. Yeah. Maybe 100,000, maybe even a great percentage of these million people do not even pay attention. But that percentage that pays attention, then that will be your customer. We don't have the excuse that we cannot reach customer thanks to internet. Therefore, what I said fundamentally is new, and we have no excuse not to succeed. Is the tools that we have available. Again, pay attention to the cloud technology, pay attention to the crowd, and pay attention to build your blueprint of crowdfunding before you start, because if you do that, then if it doesn't work, you can come and change the blueprint, improve it, and go forward. One last thing. Please watch this program and programs like this, because you can win when you have relevant information on daily basis. You'll be an expert if you learn something every day about what you are going to do crowdfunding. Go ahead, please.
I'll just add one last point, and that is that without crowd, there is no funding. So go out into the world with crowdfunding, with passion, with a plan, and leverage all the power of the electronic media and the tools and technologies that are at our fingertips to be successful. See you again soon.
Okay, for detail on any subject or campaign of your interest, you can contact us. If you have a campaign that you want us to review or promote, we'd be more than happy. Our passion is crowdfunding, and whatever form that it comes in, to promote crowdfunding campaign, crowdfunding portals, and especially if you're a specialist helping people with their crowdfunding on a legal side, on professional side, on an IP side, on accounting, on crowd building and cloud building side, we'd be more than happy to promote you. We also can be reached via old-fashioned phone system. You can call us at 877-448-4968 or info@crowdfunding.com. To be guest of the show, you can contact either Steve or one of our folks here at Crowdfunding Daily News. Contact us, or crowdfundingplanning.com. Contact us. Now, go crowdfund with
passion,
plan,
and leverage all the power possible.
More power to you guys. Go get them. See you next.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.